You ever seen the sky forget how to breathe? I don't mean clouds moving weird or some storm rolling in out of nowhere. I mean something real, something wrong. Like the whole sky just flinched and didn't recover. That's what it felt like earlier today. I was mid-sentence, reading out the weather report. Just a normal afternoon, right? Then everything dimmed. Not gradually, not like sunset. It was like someone hit a switch. 1 second, full daylight. Next second, dusk, but wrong. Heavy. Still. At first, I thought maybe it was an eclipse. We get those sometimes, sure. But this wasn't scheduled. And the light didn't fade the way it's supposed to. It was sharp. Sudden. Like the sun blinked and decided not to open its eyes again. Phones lit up. People calling the station, asking if we saw it too. Some were calm. Most weren't. One guy, Mark, I think, he said the shadows on his porch were stretching in the wrong direction. Said they bent toward the sun instead of away. I didn't even know what to say to that. I mean, what would you say? NASA dropped a press release 20 minutes later, called it an unexpected atmospheric anomaly, blamed satellite interference, solar flare activity, the usual techie nonsense. But everyone here? We saw it. This wasn't clouds, wasn't fog. The sun is still in the sky. You can feel it, but it's black. Not red, not covered, just black. Like someone filled it in with ink, and no one knows what the hell it means. You want to know what's weird, though? Even though it's dark, it's not cold. Temperature hasn't dropped. If anything, it's warmer than it was this morning. Kinda humid, like a storm's about to break, but the clouds won't cooperate. The air's thick, heavy, like it's listening. I stepped outside during the last break, just to see it for myself. I looked up. Yeah, I know, dumb move. But I looked, and I swear. The sky looked back. I don't mean that poetically. I mean it felt like being watched, like something up there noticed me noticing it. And I didn't. Like how long it lingered. It's funny, right? All my life I've talked about the sky, the weather, the sun coming up every morning like it always would, like it always had. But now, I'm not so sure anymore. It's like the sun blinked, and maybe it doesn't feel like opening its eyes again. Anyway, we're keeping the lines open. If you're out there and you're seeing the same thing, if your sky's gone black too, call in. Let me know I'm not losing it. I mean, you see it too, right? You feel it. Wait, did anyone else just hear that? The mic? It cut for a second. Never mind. Probably nothing. Probably just a bad cable. Yeah, probably. So, it's still dark. I waited, you know. I thought maybe after a few hours, after the sun finished whatever weird tantrum it was throwing, it'd come back, that it was just some weird glitch in the sky and things would click back into place, but it didn't. It's been, 9 hours now? I've lost track. Time feels like it's stretching out thin, and I'm starting to wonder if maybe the sun's not coming back at all. You'd think it'd get colder, right? That's what everyone's saying online. Well, those who still have connection. People expected frost, maybe panic runs on heaters, but nope, still warm. Too warm. Like something's breathing on the planet, slow and steady, but it ain't the sun. And it's not just heat, it's pressure. Like the sky's leaning in. Like we're being flattened. You ever been in one of those dreams where the air feels thick and your legs don't move right? That's what walking outside feels like now. Everything's slow. The birds? Gone. The ones that were out when the sun blinked? They're just not there anymore. Not dead. Not flying. Just gone. Like they vanished mid-air. I saw one guy in town. He said he watched a whole flock spiral into the sky and never come back down. Not a single feather. And then there's the clocks. Every one of them's wrong. Digital, analog, doesn't matter. Mine on the wall jumped back 4 minutes. Then forward 12. Then it stopped altogether. Phones won't sync. The internet can't decide what time it is. It's like the idea of time starting to come apart. Had a caller just now, some woman from up north. Said her husband kept asking what the light used to taste like, not what it looked like, what it tasted like. And then he started crying. Not because he was scared, but because he said he couldn't remember. She sounded shaken. I didn't know what to tell her. We're all trying to pretend it's temporary, that maybe it's just global cloud cover or some atmospheric trick or God knows what. But it's not. This isn't just weather. This isn't even natural. You can feel it, can't you? Like this isn't the absence of light. This is the presence of something else. Something that came in when the sun stepped out. And the worst part? I think it's learning. Every hour that passes, this, whatever it is, it's adjusting, listening, paying attention, like it's tuning itself to us. Or maybe to me. The signal's been warbling. My own mic's been fading in and out and not from the power. Like something doesn't want me talking. Or maybe it does, and it's just waiting for me to say the wrong thing, or the right one. You ever feel like the world is just waiting? Not moving, not changing, just watching you? That's what today feels like. It's not night, it's not even darkness. It's a pause, like something's holding its breath, and we're inside it. I keep checking the window, like an idiot, like the sun's gonna pop back in like, oops, sorry, technical difficulties. But it doesn't. The sky just sits there, heavy, still, too still. You, still there? Yeah? Good, because I don't know how long we've got left to talk like this. So, something's happening with the lights now. I thought I could fight this. Stay grounded, keep the generator running, be the voice for anyone still out there. But now, even the things I trusted, the tools we've always used to fight the dark, they're starting to betray us. I turned on every light I had in here. The overheads, the desk lamp, even this old flashlight I've kept since college. They all came on, but not like they used to. The lights, off. Not broken, not flickering, just wrong. Like the bulbs forgot how to be light. They cast these long, sharp shadows in places that don't make sense. I'm sitting directly under a lamp right now, and there's a shadow behind me. One I can't account for. It doesn't match my movements. It's late or early. I don't even know what time means anymore. And the colors are distorted. The light from the flashlight, it used to be white. Now it's this sickly green-blue haze like hospital lighting after a power surge. Everything under it looks different. Flat, drained. My skin looks gray. The papers on my desk don't have words anymore, just smudges. And when I shine the light into the corner of the room, it bends. Not the light, the corner. It curves like it's pulling away from the beam, like it doesn't want to be seen. Or maybe it's the light that's avoiding it, like it's aware. And here's the real kicker. When I close my eyes, I still see it. That same glow, like the darkness has seeped behind my eyelids and is pressing fingerprints onto my brain. I tried to sleep earlier, not even a nap, just a blink. But every time I do, I see motion, shapes, not dreams, more like memories that aren't mine. They're sharp. They come in quick flashes. A sky that's red, but not from the sun. A coastline covered in something breathing. A tower, impossibly tall with no doors, just holes. I don't know what they are. I don't want to know. One of the callers, he, sounded young, said he lit a candle to try and feel normal. Said the flame stretched upward, longer than it should have. Kept rising, like it was reaching for something. And then it turned blue. Not a normal blue. Something deeper. And then it whispered. I asked him what it said. He just started laughing. Not loud. Just this little nervous giggle that made my skin crawl. Then he hung up. I played it back. And you know what? There was another voice under his. Just barely there. saying the same thing he was, but half a beat behind, like it was trying to learn. The words as he said them. I'm starting to think this darkness, it isn't empty. It's occupied. And the light's not helping. It's drawing them in, not repelling them. Drawing. Like a beacon calling things we don't understand. I don't think this is just a blacked out sun. I think it's a replacement. Something else has taken its place. And whatever it is, it's learning how to see. So I asked people to send me pictures, proof. Anything from outside, streetlights, skylines, their backyards, just something to hold on to. Something real. Bad idea. The first email came through blank. Nothing but black. Not corrupted, not a glitch. The image data was intact. It just captured nothing. Like the camera pointed at the world and the world wasn't there. The second photo? Worse. There was something in it. A shape in the sky where the sun should be. Not a circle. More like a hollow. A perfect cutout floating in the middle of the frame, and around the edges, barely visible, were these strands, like smoke or hair, or maybe cracks in the sky itself. But the third one. That's the one. That did it. It was from a guy in New Mexico. He took a photo of his dog sitting on the porch. Normal dog, normal house. Except in the window behind him, the sky looked like a mouth. Not a cloud formation, not reflection. An actual mouth, wide open, full of teeth, and it was smiling. And the worst part? He didn't notice it until I told him. He sent a second email. 5 minutes later, said he looked again. And the photo had changed. Same picture. But now the dog was gone. Porch was empty, and the smile was wider. He said he felt sick when he looked at it, like the picture looked back. And then nothing. No. Follow-up, I tried calling. Line's dead, and I've been looking at the photo ever since. I don't know why. It's like I can't stop. Every time I glance away, it feels like something shifts when I'm not looking. The shadows in the background lean just a little more. The cracks in the sky get longer. I flipped the photo upside down, just on a whim. And you know what? It looked like an eye. Not a human one. Something deeper, older, watching, waiting, like it's not finished opening. There's this idea that cameras capture what the eye can't, that they freeze the truth. But what if that's not it? What if they're not capturing truth, but inviting it? Giving whatever's out there a frame to step into? One of the listeners, she said her Polaroid started showing people who weren't there. Said she took a picture of her husband, and there was another version of him behind him. Paler, smiling too wide. No eyes, just two pits of reflection, EQ seed. Hasn't called back either, and maybe that's for the best. Because I'm starting to think whatever we point our lenses at, we're not just looking anymore. We're giving it permission. I haven't looked outside in over an hour. I've covered the windows with anything I could find. Blankets, cardboard, duct tape. Doesn't matter. Light still seeps in. Not daylight, not even the weird glow from earlier. Just this presence. Like a thought pressing against the glass. Keep thinking about that photo. The one with the mouth, or eye, or whatever the hell it is. It hasn't left my head. Not even for a second. It's like it branded something behind my eyes. Every time I blink, I see it a little clearer. But I did look once before I blocked the windows. Just one last glance. The sun, or what's left of it. It's still there, right where it was when it blinked out. It hasn't moved at all. Think about that. Not rising, not setting, just suspended. Like someone pinned it to the sky and forgot about it. The clouds don't even pass in front of it anymore. They skirt around it like they're scared. Like whatever that thing is, it's not part of the sky. It's interrupting it. And here's the thing. If you stare at it long enough, you start to feel like you're moving. Not it. Like the sky is still, and you're the one drifting out of sync with everything. I heard from someone upstate, said their entire town gathered in a field to pray. Hundreds of people just staring up at it in silence. Then, right as someone started to speak, no sound, not even birds, not even wind. Just silence, like the world turned off for a second. And when it came back, half the crowd was gone. Vanished. No screams, no noise, just missing. And those who stayed, they weren't the same, wouldn't talk, wouldn't move. Just stood there, blinking real slow like they were trying to catch up with something the rest of us couldn't see. And yeah, the internet's basically dead now. What little connection I've got left keeps looping one article, just one, from earlier today. Headline says, Eclipse unscheduled. NASA assures public no cause for concern. Funny thing is, when you click it, it's blank, but the URL, it changes. Every time. Sometimes it says OpenEye. Other times, false dawn. One time it said, you're inside it. I don't know what any of that means, but it's not just an eclipse. Eclipses move, they pass. This thing is just there. Fixed. Watching. Like it's not blocking the sun. It is the sun now. I think it's inside us now. I don't mean that in some poetic, vague kind of way. I mean literally, physically. I think whatever's behind that black sun is crawling its way into people, into bones, into breath. I know how that sounds. Believe me, I do. But after what happened last night, I don't think it matters how it sounds anymore. It started with the ringing. Real faint, high-pitched. Not in the ears, in the chest. You ever get that? That buzz under the ribs, like your whole body's vibrating at the wrong frequency? That's what it felt like. I couldn't sleep. I kept pacing the room, pressing my palms to the walls like I could feel the signal coming through the concrete. And the worst part? I wasn't alone. I got maybe a dozen messages from people describing the same thing. Same vibration. Same pressure. Some even said they heard whispers in their blood. Not in their head. Their blood. One woman said it was like her veins were trying to speak. Said every time her heart beat she felt a syllable forming in the back of her throat, like her body was trying to pronounce something ancient. She didn't say what, just that it felt old. Another guy, can't remember his name, I think he was from Georgia, he said he started humming in his sleep. Not snoring, not dreaming, humming. A melody his wife had never heard before, and when she asked him about it he got defensive. Told her to stop listening. Only, here's the thing, he doesn't remember saying that. Or humming. But she recorded it, and I heard it. The file played fine, but the sound, it made the lights in the station dim. Just for a second. Like they were scared. It wasn't a tune. It wasn't even music. It was, I don't know, geometry, maybe? Something built out of sound. Like a puzzle your ears weren't meant to solve. And now, I'm scared to sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see these shapes moving behind my eyelids. Not images, silhouettes. Walking around like they lived there. And sometimes when I wake up, I swear I hear the tail end of a voice just fading out. Not in my room. In me. Like I was saying something in my sleep. Something I don't remember learning. I've started recording myself at night. That might have been a mistake. Because the last file, it wasn't just me. There was another voice layered under mine. Talking along with me in a language I don't recognize, but my mouth seems to know. I sound calm. Happy, even. And every time I say something, there's this soft clicking sound in the background like 1,000 little fingernails tapping glass in approval. I haven't listened to the whole thing. I can't. I'm scared of what I'll hear if I do. Or, worse, what I'll understand. The black sun's not just up there anymore. It's moved in. It's setting up shop inside us. Not with force. With familiarity. You start feeling warm. comfortable, like it's always been there, like it's been waiting for you to notice it. And when you do, when you finally give it a name, that's when it starts using yours. There was a caller today who kept saying he wasn't himself anymore. He said he was the shadow behind the memory of who he used to be. I asked him what that meant, but he couldn't explain. Said every time he tried, the words came out wrong, like his language didn't belong to him anymore. I know the feeling. I've had to restart this broadcast 3 times now because I kept slipping into something else. I'd catch myself mid-sentence, and I wouldn't recognize my own voice. It's like the rhythm is off. The tone is borrowed. I don't know how much longer I can keep doing this. Not because I'm tired, not because I'm afraid, but because I think I'm starting to agree with it. So here's the part where I really started losing it. I woke up this morning, if you can even call it that anymore, with this feeling in my teeth. Not pain, not even pressure, just this weird pulsing, like each tooth had its own little heartbeat. At first I thought I was grinding again, stress, but then I looked in the mirror and, no, something's wrong. There were numbers, tiny, etched-in numbers on the backs of my bottom teeth. At first I thought it was just the lighting, but no, they're there. I took a picture to make sure I wasn't hallucinating and, each tooth had a digit, a string of them, like a code, like my mouth had been labeled by something that didn't need my permission. I didn't sleep the rest of the day. I've been running my tongue over them ever since. They don't hurt, but they feel wrong. Like they were always meant to be there and I'm just late figuring it out. And I'm not the only one. Someone called in earlier. This woman, real shaky voice, said her daughter came home from school with numbers on her fingertips. Not written, not inked, beneath the skin, like they were growing there, like they were born there. She said the girl kept whispering something in her sleep, over and over again. Just one phrase, 54, 53, 52. A countdown. Only, it wasn't in English, and it wasn't forward. It was backward, spoken in reverse, like the time itself was unraveling out of her mouth. I asked the caller if she recorded it. She said she tried, but the audio kept glitching. The counter wouldn't stay on tape. Every time she played it back, the countdown picked up from where it left off instead of starting over, like it knew where it stopped. That's when I realized I've been hearing a sound like that too. Not a countdown, but this ticking. Not from the clock, not from the room, from inside, like something geological, something deep and ancient buried under my ribs. I swear it gets louder when I talk about it, like it's listening for acknowledgement, like it wants me to notice it. And the air? It vibrates. Now. People are starting to say they feel the floor shift under them, like the ground's subtly breathing, expanding and contracting with every thought. One listener said the walls in his house started warping, not cracking or collapsing, just tilting, slightly, like the whole building's trying to lean in closer to whatever's out there. And then there's the music. I've been hearing it. Soft, at first, barely there. But now it's in everything. The fan, the fridge, the static on this mic. It's not a song, there's no melody. It's more like a pattern of tones, like someone took the idea of music and stretched it until it frayed. And every now and then, right in the middle of that sound, I hear a voice. Not words, just the tone of a voice. Familiar, like it's my own echo, slowed down and reassembled in some alien rhythm. It always comes right after the ticking gets faster, like it's connected, like the music is guiding it. And I think it is. I think this thing, whatever it is, it's counting down to something big, and it's doing it inside us, quietly, patiently, carving itself into our memories, one whisper at a time. You ever feel like you've been waiting your whole life for something you never understood? That's what this feels like. And the scariest part? I think the countdown ends when we finally accept it. So I left the station today. I shouldn't have. I know that now. But the walls were breathing too loud. That ticking in my teeth. It started, syncing up with the blinking red light on the console, and I couldn't take it anymore. I needed to see if it was just me, if maybe stepping outside would quiet it all down. I drove into town, and I swear to you the place isn't real anymore. The roads still look like roads, kinda, but they don't feel right. Like the asphalt's thinner, like it's stretched over something underneath. And the buildings. God! You ever fold a piece of paper in half so many times the edges blur and you can't quite tell which direction it's meant to go? That's what the city looks like now. Everything's folding, not collapsing, not breaking. Folding. I parked by the corner of 5th and Main, or at least I thought I did, and I walked toward the diner. I used to go there every Sunday. The waitress always remembered my order. Eggs over easy, rye toast, black coffee, but it's gone now. The sign's still there. The smell of coffee still hangs in the air, weirdly enough, but when I opened the door, it was just hallways, dozens of them, all narrow and tilting like someone built an office tower out of leftover nightmares. Each one ended in a mirror, and every mirror showed a different version of me. Some older, some younger. One of them didn't blink, and one had no face at all, just smooth, glistening skin where the features should have been. I turned around to get out, but the door I came through wasn't there anymore, just a long corridor with a window at the end. Outside that window wasn't the street. It was a desert, flat, empty, and hanging above it was the black sun, bigger than I'd ever seen it, spinning, barely perceptible, like a coin deciding which side to fall on. It took me, I don't even know how long, to find my way back. I just walked, turned corners that shouldn't exist, past doors that whispered, and finally I came back out onto the sidewalk. Only it wasn't the same one. The city had shifted. Street signs were blank. Storefronts were reversed. I watched a tower in the distance curl in on itself like a dying fern. Quiet, elegant, final. No one screamed. No one even noticed. There were people walking, yeah, but they didn't look up. They didn't make eye contact. They moved like wind-up toys, each step mechanical, precise. I tried talking to one guy, put my hand on his shoulder, and he stopped moving. Just froze, mouth open, and he said, "Don't touch the glass, it remembers." I don't know what that means, but I ran. I got back to my car, or at least something that resembled it. The paint was different. The mirror was cracked, and there was a post-it on the dash with 3 words, "Drive backwards home." I didn't question it. I put it in reverse, and I didn't stop until I saw the station again. The roads didn't line up the same way. I had to take turns that shouldn't have led anywhere. But they did. Like the world's folding in on itself, and the only way to move forward now is in reverse. I don't think we're in the same place anymore. Not really. I think whatever's happening with the sun, it's not just darkening the sky. It's folding space, turning cities into thoughts, buildings into symbols, people into echoes. And now the map doesn't matter. Directions don't matter. All that matters is what it wants to show you next. Ever since I got back from the city, if you can even call it that now, I haven't heard silence once. Not real silence. There's always a voice, somewhere. Faint, drifting, just low enough to pretend I imagined it. But I didn't. It's not mine. And it's not alone. They come in waves now. Sometimes they sound like people I knew. My father, my old math teacher, a girl I used to love who never loved me back. They say things those people never said. Things no one should say. Other times, it's strangers, or what I think are strangers. But they speak with this weird familiarity, like they've worn my voice before, like they remember things I haven't lived yet. And when I try to ignore them, they get louder. Not angry, not shouting, just insistent. You ever hear your name whispered from the other side of a locked door? It's that kind of sound. I got a message earlier. Came through the old answering machine. Not connected to the phones anymore, hasn't been in years. But the light was blinking. I pressed play. It was me. But it wasn't. It had my voice, my inflection, even the nervous stutter I picked up as a kid. But the words weren't mine. It said, "Your body is a borrowed broadcast." The signal remembers the first voice. We are almost tuned. And then it laughed. Just once. Short, flat, like a punctuation mark. I haven't touched that machine since. And then there's this journal. I found it tucked behind one of the shelves in the storage room. Dusty, leather-bound. Looks old. I opened it expecting to find someone else's ramblings, maybe a former host who went a little too deep into late-night conspiracy shows. But no. Every entry is in my handwriting, but I didn't write it. Not one word. It's filled with dates that haven't happened yet. Descriptions of places I've never been. Conversations I've never had. But reading them feels like déjà vu wrapped around my spine. I flip through it and get this sensation that I'm remembering forward. One entry talks about the sun splitting open like a second mouth. Another describes me standing in this exact studio, repeating the words, "This is not my voice," over and over until my jaw dislocates. I haven't said those words. Not yet, but I'm terrified I will, and I'm not the only one. Callers have stopped sounding like themselves. I don't mean they're shaken or scared. I mean their voices don't match their names. A woman who's called in for weeks, Linda, sweet, steady voice, sounded different tonight. Not deeper, not robotic, just wrong, too smooth, too knowing. Asked her where she was calling from. She paused and said, "From the mouth behind your thoughts," then hung up. And when I played it back, it wasn't Linda's voice at all. It was mine, distorted, echoing, like it came from underwater. And layered under it, so faint I almost missed it, was another voice, speaking along with me, saying the same thing, but laughing on the last word. I don't know whose voice that was, but I think I'm starting to sound more like it every time I speak. And now I can't tell if I'm warning you or if I'm helping it reach you. The weirdest part is, there's light again now. That should have been a good thing, right? Something you'd celebrate. But it's not, because it's wrong. It's not sunlight, not even close. It came out of nowhere. 1 second, I was sitting here, listening to the hum in the floorboards, and the next, the whole room was glowing. No sunrise, no gradual shift, just a pulse. Like someone turned on a floodlight behind the sky, but it doesn't shine like light. It pushes. I stepped outside, just to make sure I wasn't imagining it. And yeah, it's everywhere. Everything looks brighter, but also kind of flat, like a bad digital rendering. The shadows are all wrong. They don't stretch away from the light, they stretch up, straight up, like they're trying to escape the ground and the colors. I don't even know how to describe them. It's not yellow or white. It's this sort of iridescent shimmer, like oil on water, but moving. It doesn't reflect, it reacts. When I moved my hand through it, the light bent away like it didn't want to touch me. Or maybe like it was inspecting me. It's like the world is being lit from the inside out. And it's not just the visuals. The air feels charged. There's this weird hum that matches the rhythm of my breathing, and when I try to hold my breath, it gets louder, like it's noticing the change. Like it doesn't like when I stop syncing with it. I tried covering the windows again, but the light comes through anyway. Not through cracks, through material. It seeps, like mist, only you can't feel it. You just know it's there. And people are reacting. I've had more calls today than I've had since this whole thing started. But nobody's asking what's happening anymore. They're telling me what they feel, and they all say the same thing. They feel drawn to it, like it's calling them. One guy said his wife walked outside and just stood in their backyard, staring straight up into the light. He tried to talk to her, shake her, yell. Nothing. She didn't blink, didn't move. After a while, she started whispering a word he couldn't understand. He tried recording it, but the file came out blank. Just a hiss. She's still standing. There. Another caller said she watched her own reflection turn toward the window before she did. Like her body already made the decision, and her mind was just catching up. And I get it. I keep finding myself turning toward it too. I'll be talking, writing, eating, and suddenly I'm staring out the window again. Like I forgot I was doing anything else. Like part of me is checking to see if it's closer. But it never moves. It just hovers, constant and patient. Watching. That's the worst part. It feels patient. Like this is just the introduction. Like it's giving us time to adjust. Like the real thing hasn't even started yet. I've been trying to describe the color of it, but nothing fits. It's not a color. It's a memory. A color your mind thinks it's seen before, but never actually has. Like something remembered from a dream before you had language. That kind of deep, primal recognition that makes your stomach twist and your hands shake because you know it means something, but you don't know what. I keep looking at my own hands. They look different under this light. Longer, sharper, like they belong to someone who's already made a choice I don't remember making. I don't think it's just watching us anymore. I think it remembers us. I know how that sounds. I know I've been throwing out a lot of wild, unraveling ideas lately, but this one's different, because it's personal. I don't mean that in some abstract, cosmic sense. I mean it knows me. I got a package this morning. No return. Us or address. No name. Just sitting by the station door like it had been there forever. The paper was damp even though it hadn't rained. Wrapped too neatly. Tied with a red string. I shouldn't have opened it. Inside was a folder. Manila. My name. Written on it in handwriting that looked exactly like mine, but neater. More precise. It was filled with pages. Old records, scanned documents, photos I don't even remember taking. And at the very back, my birth certificate. Unfolded, centered, like it was waiting, and across the bottom of the certificate, underlined. In red ink was a phrase I've never said aloud, never told a soul. You were marked before the sun. I don't know what that means, but it knows me. It knows my middle name. It knows the name of the street I grew up on, the dog I had that died when I was 6. There was even a transcript, typed out, of a conversation I had with my mother 10 years ago, one I'd forgotten completely until I read it again. And when I say transcript, I mean it had everything. Every pause, every stutter, even the sighs, word for word. Like someone had been listening not just to the sound of my life, but to its shape. So, yeah, I think we're being remembered by whatever's behind the black sun. Or maybe by the sun itself, if it even is the sun anymore. I think this thing is pulling us into focus, not learning who we are, reconstructing who we were. And maybe that's what all this has been about. Not destruction, not invasion. Recognition. That new light outside, it's not just shining, it's scanning. Not looking at us, looking through us, sifting through everything we've been, stripping away all the things we built to survive in daylight. I've noticed people forgetting simple things, not in the usual, where are my keys kind of way. I'm talking about names, their own voices. One caller said he forgot his daughter's face while she was standing right in front of him. Said he blinked, and when he opened his eyes, she was still there, but wrong. Like she was remembered by someone else. I had a moment like that earlier today. I walked past a mirror and didn't recognize myself. Not because I looked different, because I felt different, like I was seeing someone I used to be, someone I'd already left behind, and I was only now catching up to their memory of me. You ever get the sense that your reflection is the real one and you're the shadow? That's where I'm at. I think the light is making copies, versions of us that only it understands. And maybe that's what the sun always was. Not a star, not a fireball, but a lens, a watcher. And now that it's turned black, it doesn't see us anymore. It remembers us. I think I've been talking for longer than I realize. Time's gotten weird lately. Slippery. I check the clock, and it says 5 minutes passed, but the tape says 50. Or the other way around. Sometimes I can't even remember hitting record, but here I am. Mic on, signal hot, voice still working. It's like my hands and mouth keep going whether I'm present or not. But here's the thing. I think the broadcast's still running even when I'm not here. I left the station last night. Just needed to walk. Clear my head. I was starting to feel like the air was getting thicker inside, like the walls were pressing in too close. I only meant to step outside for a second, but something pulled me down the road. Not physically, not like a tug, more like a thought that got louder the longer I ignored it. When I got back, the on-air sign was glowing. The red light. It was on, and I know for a fact I turned everything off before I left. I always do. Habit, survival. But there it was. Signal broadcasting, mic open, reel turning. I played it back. It was me. Telling a story I don't remember. Talking about the sun, turning into a doorway. About people who walked through it and came back different. About a voice behind the voice behind the voice. I listened to the whole thing, and near the end, I started crying. Not because it was scary, because it was familiar. Like I'd heard it. All before in a dream I've had every night but only just remembered. I think this broadcast has been running longer than I've been alive. I think people like me, late-night voices, fringe signal pushers, the weirdos on the edge of AM bandwidth, we've always been part of it. Carriers, echoes, templates for a message that's bigger than any of us, and now it doesn't need us to be awake anymore. It just needs us to exist. I've started hearing myself when I'm not speaking. Little fragments of my voice coming out of other people's radios, even when I'm not on air. Saying things I haven't said yet. Describing things I haven't seen. It's like the broadcast lives on its own now. Like I was just the launch pad. And you know what scares me? It's getting better without me. Cleaner. Smoother. Like someone took my voice and removed all the hesitation, all the fear. Like it learned what it liked from me and left the rest behind. And people are listening. More than ever, calls come in constantly now, but most don't say anything. Just breathing. Sometimes you can hear typing. One call was just the sound of footsteps. Slow, steady, and always approaching but never arriving. I tried tracing them. They don't lead anywhere. They don't exist in any call logs. They're just there. Part of the loop. And that's what this is now. A loop. The sun goes black. The light returns. The cities fold. The voices echo. And the broadcast keeps going. No matter what. Even if the world ends. Even if we all dissolve into memory and dust and archived static, this broadcast will still be out there. Repeating, waiting, tuning itself to the next mind willing to listen long, enough to believe it's real. So, if you're hearing this, and the sky's already dark where you are, and the light is starting to bend, don't try to make sense of it. That's how it gets in. Just keep listening, and remember, the broadcast never ends, because it never needed you to begin.